Hello, and welcome to the Practical English Podcast. I'm Mike.
And I'm Angela. We're so glad you could join us today.
Absolutely. Today, we're diving into one of the most fundamental and most useful tenses in English, the present simple.
That's right. It might sound basic, but mastering the present simple is the key to talking about your life, your habits, and the world around you. We'll be focusing specifically on how to use it for daily routines and habits.
We'll cover the rules, give you some great examples, and share some really useful phrases you can start using immediately. So, are you ready?
Let's get started. Okay, Mike, let's start with the big question. When do we actually use the present simple?
Great question. The present simple is our go-to tense for a few key situations. First, for things that are always or generally true. Facts.
Right, like water boils at 100 degrees Celsius.
Exactly. Or the earth revolves around the sun. These are universal truths.
Mm-hmm.
Second, and this is our main focus today, we use it for habits or things we do regularly, our routines.
This is where it gets really practical for everyday conversation. For example, I drink coffee every morning. Or, hopefully, I brush my teeth twice a day.
Yes, hopefully, a very important daily habit. And it doesn't have to be every day. It could be, we visit my parents on Sundays, or she goes to the gym 3 times a week.
So, facts and routines. The structure itself is pretty straightforward, isn't it? For most subjects, we just use the base form of the verb.
It is. For I, you, we, and they, it's simple. I work, you play, we eat, they learn.
But there's one little rule that learners often forget, the one we always have to practice.
Ah, yes, the most important rule of the present simple, the third person singular S. For he, she, and it, we almost always add an S to the end of the verb.
Exactly. So it's not he work, it's he works. Not she play, but she plays. And it rains.
This is probably the number one mistake we see, but once you get the hang of it, it becomes second nature.
Okay, so we know when to use it, and we know the golden rule of the third person S. Let's break down how to build sentences. Let's start with positive statements.
Sounds good. As we said, it's subject plus the base form of the verb. Let's use the verb to read. I read, you read, we read, they read.
Simple enough. Now for the tricky ones. He
reads,
she
reads,
the cat.
the cat reads. A very clever cat.
A very well-educated cat. Now, it's usually just adding an S, but sometimes the spelling changes, right?
It does. If a verb ends in CH, SH, S, X, or Z, we add ES. For example, watch becomes watches. He watches TV every evening.
Right, and wash becomes washes. She washes her car on weekends. Kiss becomes kisses. Fix becomes fixes.
And there's another one. If the verb ends in a consonant followed by Y, we change the Y to I and add ES.
Like study, S-T-U-D-Y. It becomes studies. She studies biology at university.
Or try becomes tries. He always tries his best. But be careful. If the verb ends in a vowel plus Y, like play, you just add S. He plays the piano.
That's a great point. So that's positive sentences covered. What about negatives, Mike? How do we say no?
For negatives, we need a helping verb, and that helping verb is do. We use do not, or the contraction don't, and does not, or the contraction doesn't.
And the structure is subject plus don't or doesn't plus the base form of the verb. Notice that the main verb goes back to its original form, no S.
That's the key. The S is already in does. You only need it once. So for I, you, we, they, we use don't. For example, they don't live in the city.
And for he, she, it, we use doesn't. She doesn't work on Fridays, not she doesn't works.
Exactly. He doesn't like spicy food. The verb like has no S. The S is on does.
That's a really common mistake to watch out for. Okay, so we've done positives and negatives. The last piece of the puzzle is questions.
Questions follow a similar pattern. We use do and does at the beginning of the sentence. The structure is do, does, plus subject, plus base verb.
So if I want to ask you about your coffee habit, I'd say, do you drink coffee in the morning?
And I would say, yes, I do, or no, I don't. And if you wanted to ask about my sister,
I would use does. Does your sister live in Canada?
and I could answer, yes, she does, or no, she doesn't. Again, notice the main verb, live, has no S. The helping verb, does all the work.
Of course. And this structure works for all kinds of questions. Do they play football? Does he speak German? It's a very reliable pattern.
Okay, we've gone through a lot of grammar rules.
We have.
Now for the fun part. Let's put it all into practice by talking about something everyone has, a daily routine.
This is the perfect topic for the present simple. Let's use ourselves as examples. Mike, why don't you walk us through your typical morning?
My morning, okay, let's see. I'm an early bird. I usually wake up at 6:30 a.m. I don't hit the snooze button. I get up straight away.
Oh, I'm impressed. I always hit the snooze button at least twice.
It takes practice. The first thing I do is drink a large glass of water. Then I make breakfast for my family. My son eats cereal, but my daughter prefers toast.
So you make two different breakfasts? You're a good dad.
I try. After breakfast, I check my emails for about 15 minutes. I don't like to look at my phone before that. Then I take a shower, get dressed, and I leave for work at around 8 o'clock.
That was a perfect description. So many great examples. You used wake up, drink, make, eats, prefers, check, all present simple.
Exactly.
You also used usually and always. Those are called adverbs of frequency, and they are best friends with the present simple.
They are. They tell us how often we do something. The most common ones are always, usually, often, sometimes, rarely, and never.
And their placement is important. They usually go before the main verb. As you said, I usually wake up at 6:30, or she sometimes works from home.
Right, but there's one exception. With the verb to be, the adverb comes after it. For example, I am always tired on Mondays, not I always am tired.
A very important distinction. Okay, so I'll describe a friend's evening routine. Let's call her Chloe. This is a great way to practice that third person S.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so Chloe works as a graphic designer. She usually finishes her work at 6 p.m. She doesn't come straight home. She goes to a yoga class 3 times a week.
A very healthy habit.
It is. When she gets home, she cooks dinner. She loves cooking. She rarely orders takeout. After dinner, she relaxes. She watches a show on Netflix or listens to a podcast. She goes to bed around 11 p.m. She doesn't like to stay up too late.
Fantastic. So many third-person verbs there. Finishes, comes, goes, gets, cooks, loves, relaxes, watches, listens, goes, likes. It really shows how often we use this tense to describe someone's life. So daily routines are a huge part of the present simple, but it's also perfect for talking about our hobbies and longer-term habits, things we do in our free time.
Yes, what makes us us? So, Mike, tell the listeners, what do you do for fun?
Well, I play the guitar. I don't play in a band anymore, but I still play at home most evenings. It helps me relax.
That's lovely. Do you write your own songs?
I try to sometimes. They aren't very good. I also read a lot. I love history books. My wife and I also go hiking when the weather's nice. We live near some beautiful trails.
That sounds amazing. See, all present simple. I play, it helps, I read, we go, we live. What about things you don't do?
Good question. I don't watch a lot of sports on TV, and I don't drink coffee. I know, it's strange.
No coffee. How do you survive?
Lots of tea. What about you, Angela? What are your hobbies and habits?
Let's see. I have a slightly unusual hobby. I collect old maps.
Old maps? That's really unique. What is it about them that you love so much? Do you have a favorite one?
I find them fascinating. I go to antique shops and look for them. I also try to cook something new every weekend. It doesn't always work out well, but it's fun.
It doesn't always work out. A perfect negative example.
Exactly, and a very true one. And in terms of habits, I meditate for 10 minutes every morning. It really helps me focus for the rest of the day.
So you're another one of those people who doesn't hit the snooze button.
Well, I meditate after I hit the snooze button 3 times.
That's more like it.
We've covered a lot of ground today, the grammar, the sentence structures, and lots of practical examples with routines and hobbies.
We have. Let's do a quick recap of the most important takeaways for our listeners.
Good idea. So point number 1, use the present simple for facts, habits, and routines, things that happen regularly or are generally true.
Point number 2, and it's the big one, don't forget the S for the third person singular. He, she, and it. He walks, she talks, it works.
Point number 3, for negatives and questions, you need the helping verbs do and does.
And when you use doesn't or does he, the main verb goes back to its base form, no S. For example, does he work here?
Exactly. And finally, use those adverbs of frequency, always, usually, sometimes, never, to add more detail about how often you do something.
We really encourage all of you listening to try this out today. Take 5 minutes and write down your daily routine. Or even better, describe it out loud in English.
That's the best way to practice. Start with, I wake up at, and just keep going. You'll be surprised at how much you can say using just this one tense.
You will. Well, that's all the time we have for today. We hope you found this episode on the Practical English Podcast helpful.
Thanks so much for listening to the Practical English Podcast. Join us next time when we'll be talking about prepositions of place.
Until then, keep practicing.